In today's video, what to do once you reach your goal.
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Rebella from ProPhysique.com, and today's video is going to address the topic of what should we do once we reach a goal. For most of the viewers of my channel, those goals are going to be fitness related, but I think when I started going through this in my mind, it's actually the case with a lot of goals that we set for ourselves is what to do after we obtain that goal. Early on, I think we associate reaching a goal with Shangri-La, happiness, that's the end, we're good, we don't need to worry about things anymore. What I've found is that through achieving multiple goals, the pleasure isn't actually in the goal, it's in the process of figuring out the next goal, how we're gonna get there, and getting through that to that goal. That's more what I enjoy now. So let's do a little story time. So I'm going to post a question up here for the gentleman that sent me this, and congratulations on your weight loss. It's as you can see guys here, it's quite a remarkable journey into fat loss and body fat changes. And so I'm going to try to relate this through my own journey in deciding to do a bodybuilding show and what happened in my journey once that was over, because I did not have a goal once that was over. So we all get to a point, I think if you're watching this channel, we can all probably remember a point in our lives where we looked around and thought, saw a picture of ourselves, saw ourselves on film, started getting referred to as chubby, maybe all of our clothes started not fitting. Whatever it was that happened in your life, you decided, you know what, it's time to make a change. I'm gonna start ordering salads, I'm gonna start walking the stairs at work, I'm gonna join a gym, I'm gonna start doing CrossFit, I'm gonna start walking in my neighborhood at night. Whatever it was, there was a moment where we realized, okay, our body composition is in a place that we don't like it. And that's a very personal thing. What you like for yourself might be completely different than what other people see. And that's something I deal with clients quite a bit, is clients being negative about their own body and the way they look, and they don't realize that they're some of the most elite physiques in the world, right? But so we each have that own thing. We each have our own feeling that makes us excited about what we're doing. And so for years I was obsessed with going to the gym and lifting weights, but I never really thought much of it besides that. I just knew I liked looking better in a t-shirt. I liked looking like I worked out. I liked the response I got. I felt better about myself. So there was lots of reasons for me to do it. It was just an obsession from an early age. I started out very skinny, right? There did reach a point though where I got a little too heavy and I thought, man, this isn't good. And I started dieting down. And when I did, I started getting some comments from people in the gym like, hey, are you gonna compete? Maybe you should compete. And I thought, no, that's silly. I can't compete in a bodybuilding show. And I'm not suggesting you do, I just wanna share my story. And so what happened was I ended up attending a bodybuilding show. And when I did, I was really surprised by what I saw. I expected to go into the bodybuilding show and see everybody on stage look like the competitors that you see at Mr. Olympia. Because again, at that time, my only reference was the magazines. This was, early 2000s. So there was not a lot of information on the internet about competition. So you only saw the cream of the crop, the best of the best. Well, when you go to a local bodybuilding show, you have such a wide array of competitors, first-time competitors, teens, masters. Yes, there are some guys that look amazing, but it's not the norm, okay? The more mediocre look is what is on stage, right? And a lot of people get on stage not to become Mr. Olympia, but because it's part of their fitness journey. Well, attending that show changed everything for me. I attended that show in 2007, and I competed in the show in 2008. The same show, 1 year later. And I set the goal. I am going to get on stage. So you see where this is going. I set that goal for 1 year. I reached out to a coach. I started training better, eating better. Without a doubt, the greatest year of training in my life. I started changing the things I was doing. I no longer played softball 2 nights a week, volleyball 2 nights a week, volleyball on Saturday mornings, and a basketball league on Sunday nights. I no longer went to Monday Night Football every Monday and got drunk. There was lots of things that I just started changing. Okay, if I'm going to take this serious, I got a year to get ready for the show, and I took it very seriously. I started training more frequently. My diet was better. And so as I had a goal, my life kind of shifted gears. And so for that whole year, I spent, putting on muscle, training harder, kept visualizing what I was going to need to look like on stage. I did my whole contest prep. I got shredded. I just remember getting in the gym and seeing other people in my gym that were going to be doing the show. And I just thought to myself, I just want to outwork those guys. So I would start doing cardio and I would see how fast they were going. I would go a little faster and then they would leave and I'd stay for 30 minutes longer just because, they left, so I'm going to stay. And it was really fun for me. I didn't realize how fun it was because remember, the goal was what I thought would be fun. I thought it would be fun to do the bodybuilding show. But I realized after that whole process was what I truly enjoyed. The excitement of mailing in, yes, we had to use the mail back then, printing out the form, writing my name on it, sending in my entry form, sending in my money for the NPC card, setting up the tanning appointments, hiring a coach just to help me with posing. On weekends, instead of going out with my friends drinking, I would go to some guy's house to pose like a bodybuilder. Like the changes that I undertook in that year were drastic, and I loved it. It just became such a part of me. But here's the thing. So I got to my show. My parents came. I think I had about 10 friends from Orlando. I did a local show. All these people came, and I actually competed in novice bodybuilding, and I think there was 8 or 9 people in my class, and I won my class. Winner, right? And this was, at this show, you weren't allowed to do any but one class. They did not allow crossover. So I won novice. Very excited. I'll never forget that whole experience, the day, staying at my buddy Mike's house, going out the night after, going to dinner with my parents. It was a great day. And then when the show was over, I had my trophy. For a few days, I was happy. Man, I did it. And then I didn't know what to do. I literally felt like I had a slight bit of depression from not having something driving me every single day. The next week, I still went to the gym and I still did a little bit of, I still trained, but I didn't have that same focus and I felt a little bit lost. And I'm going to tell you how I resolved this. And so the next couple weeks, I think I went to visit my buddy in LA, I went out drinking. I did a lot of things that I couldn't do for that year, the things that I had put to the side. And I remember just feeling like I was floating for 3 or 4 weeks. I probably put on some weight. I didn't feel great about, my physique anymore, even though I was still in pretty good shape, but there was just not that push. And then I remember thinking, what's next? What is my next goal? Because I did love the show. And this was in August. Sorry, this was June. So around July, I started asking myself, what's next? Well, there was a bodybuilding show in November in South Florida that was a drug-free bodybuilding show. So levels the playing field a little bit because I realized I'm not going to be an IFBB pro bodybuilder at my size and stature. So I decided to attend that show in November, a natural bodybuilding show. My first time ever going to a natural bodybuilding show. I just wanted to see what it was. Well, me and my best friend drove down in November, watched it, and I was very impressed by the caliber of the physiques, what was possible natural, but I was also motivated because I could see a little bit better where I would fit. And so guess what I did? I set my next goal. That's right. So in November of 2008, I decided in November of 2009, I was going to do my next bodybuilding show. And that's what I did. I set that next year-long goal. And my next goal was, since I won novice, I wanted to win an open class at a show. And that's what drove me. And so what this taught me is that it wasn't the goal that excited me. It wasn't actually getting to the show and getting on stage and getting tanned up. It wasn't that moment. It was all the moments that led to that. And so you have reached your goal. So the realization that you can do whatever the hell it is that you set your mind to should be very powerful. In that time, 2008, 2009, I had this realization. Man, I really succeed when I put pressure on myself to accomplish something. So I decided to go back to college. I actually went back to school and got a master's degree while I was planning to compete in this bodybuilding show. The master's degree was going to propel my career forward. I was in information technology. I was in the business world. I knew that having a degree in business was going to drive me. So what I've learned to do now is set goals for all aspects of my life, which I never really did. Owning a home, getting a degree, competing in a bodybuilding competition, earning a certain amount of money, having enough money in savings. Now I have a family, married, about to have my second son. I'm setting goals for my family. I'm setting goals for them. I'm setting goals for myself. So the best thing you can do right now, since you're struggling, is figure out what that next goal might be. And I'm not suggesting it should be a competition, but if you've lost all this body fat, chances are you might not be as muscular as you want. So maybe you spend a year and you compete in a powerlifting meet. That was a goal I set in the past. I'm gonna compete in a powerlifting meet. Great. I got in the gym and squat, benched, and deadlift for months to do that meet, right? And then each time you do a powerlifting meet, well, guess what? You set some PRs at a meet, you wanna break those PRs. That's another great example of how you constantly move the goal forward. But the one thing I do a little bit differently now is I don't wait till I reach a goal to set the next goal. That's what I would suggest for you. Set your next goals or have an eye on something you think you might wanna do before the next goal ends, and that will help keep the momentum, because the toughest time I had in bodybuilding with my goals was that time after the first show I ever did, because I had no idea what I was going to do next. And I had what we refer to as competitors refer to as post-show blues. It was very similar to when I played college baseball and the baseball season would end. And during baseball season, we had a game 3 days a week. We had practice 4 days a week. We had study hall. We had weightlifting. Your life was very structured around sports. Bodybuilding is the same way. It's very structured around the sport. And when that ends, when you lose that structure, that goal, you kind of feel a little bit lost. And that's probably where you're at, my friend. So hopefully this helps you a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't too much me rambling about myself. But the best way for me to relate to you is to give you my experience. And that's my experience, is that now I always set goals. If I don't have a goal set for something, I find that I just waffle. I just kind of sit there, okay? I've got some pretty lofty goals now. As a coach, as a competitor, as a father, as an entrepreneur, I set goals, okay? Do I miss some? Do I fail? Of course. But guess what? It's the excitement of setting that next one that makes my life happy and excited. And that's just what drives me. And maybe that's what's driving you. So, all right, guys, hopefully this wasn't too much rambling from old Coach Paul Ravella, but I appreciate you guys following along, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All by myself.